Hey everybody, Smooth Brain Operator here, talking to whoever's listening out there. This is part 3 of talking about Leman Russ in the Horus Heresy. Last we left off, Leman Russ is unconscious. He did a strike attack, he did like a quick ambush attack on Horus, the traitor, and pushed all the way into the throne room of Horus's flagship, fought Horus, and was beaten and knocked out. And now his sons are fighting to the death, trying to save their Primarch. Those Space Wolves are trying to fight and save their Primarch while Horus is walking towards them all with slow confidence, knowing he's going to kill every one of them. And Horus's sons, the Luna Wolves, at his back, also firing bolter fire into the Space Wolves. So now the Space Wolves are on their heels. They're in full retreat. They are trying to leave the throne room and leave. They have a path cut to from the hangar bay to Horus's throne room. Now they're trying to come back along that path, and they are getting harassed every step of the way. Space Wolves are dying left and right, and remember, Leman Russ is unconscious at this point. He is unconscious. He's out of the fight. Horus really did a number on him, and so the Space Wolves are trying to pull out, to pull back, to survive, get their Primarch out of harm's way. And they make it to the hangar bay. And they are running, they're in full retreat. And the Space Wolves have all fire focused on the one entrance into the hangar bay. And Horus just comes walking through with his hand raised. And with his chaos power, there's like over 1,000 Space Wolves in this hangar bay firing directly at Horus Lupercal. Not even at the sons of Horus, the Luna Wolves, or the sons of Horus, as they're called now. They are just firing directly at Horus. And he is stopping every single bullet with sheer force of will, holding his hand out with the power given to him by the Chaos Gods. I mean, if that's not plot armor, I don't know what is. Not a single bullet is touching him. They're all hitting the force field and dissipating. And there is nothing they can do. So they hop on their ship. And unfortunately, like those Space Wolves sacrifice themselves, every one of them. They say, get Leman Russ on the shuttle, get him on the Thunderhawk, which is their gunship. Get him on the Thunderhawk, get him out of here. And they do. And the rest of them sacrifice themselves to get Leman Russ out. And essentially, Leman Russ failed. He failed his mission to kill Horus. So now they have to hide. They're in hiding because, of course, Horus's fleet is going to hunt them down. Because if they can hunt down and kill yet another Loyalist Legion and the Loyalist Primarch, that's one less to worry about. So they hunt them. They hunt them hard. But Leman Russ and the Space Wolves are crafty, and they're able to sneak and get away, but at great cost. They are essentially out of the fight. They are no longer able to participate in the rest of the Horus Heresy, and they came so close to killing Horus. But unfortunately, they didn't. So now they have to figure out what to do next. And during this time, this is a time where they had to lick their wounds, they had to fix their ships, they had to recuperate, right? As best as they could while being just floating in space, trying to stay hidden, stay out of sight, stay away from Horus's fleet. And so, just a crazy, crazy time. And this gives Leman Russ time to reflect and say, what went wrong? Why did all this happen? I shouldn't just follow orders blindly. He is loyal to a fault to the Emperor, but he learns that he needs to be loyal to a fault to the Emperor, but then question orders if they come from anyone else but the Emperor. And so he carries this weight with him the rest of the heresy, the rest of his exile, the rest of the time he is trying to fix his legion and recuperate, figure out what to do next. He is learning these lessons at great cost, because the cost was him essentially killing and destroying his brother Magnus and Magnus's legion. And so he's learned. He has learned from this. And then after the heresy, he felt guilty about the emperor being entombed on the golden throne. He references it's the equivalent of the Emperor's great grand dream, and the Primarchs just peeing on it, just pissing all over it. And so the Primarchs, they all mourn the Emperor, but Leman Russ particularly takes it hard. He even gets himself drunk a couple times, or at least attempts to. And so then the last we see of him is he goes off into the warp. He goes into the warp with his first company. And we don't know what he's there for. Some say he's going there to find the tree of life within the warp. And if he gets an essence of the tree of life, the sap of the tree of life, or something like that, he could revive the Emperor of Mankind. We don't know for sure if that's what he's going to do, but that's, just a fan theory. But we know he took the spear with him, and now he's in the warp, and that's the last we heard of him. We don't know what he's been up to since. But it just goes to show that ever since then, his legion has always stood on loyalty, honor, and integrity. Even after the fact that my very first video, just talking about the Space Wolves in general, they still uphold the honor of Leman Russ and their legion, now chapters. But let's be honest, they're still a legion. They only have companies, and their great companies are all they each have a specialty, and maybe I'll make my next video on that, and then they all work together if need be. I'd love to see all the Space Wolves come together as one full legion again. That'd be sick. They don't quite have a last wall protocol, but they don't really have many successor chapters either. You just have the 12 great companies, and that's it. So I think the Space Wolves are underrated by far. Leman Russ has learned so much, and he's grown. I envision him now as like a mature Thor, right? Where he still has that get up and go. He can still go toe to toe with the best of them, but he is now more tempered. He knows to sit back and think more. He's not just going to take orders blindly and go into do whatever the orders say to do. That's not his character. That's not who he is. Above all else, he upholds honor and integrity. Again, like I mentioned in my previous video, how in one of the Horus Heresy books, 10 Space Wolves fought Conrad Kurz, the most crazy, unhinged Primarch of all of them, only to save an old woman. That's all it was. They didn't have to fight that fight. There was nothing in their orders that said they had to do that, but they did because they knew it was what's right. They knew it was what they're created for. They knew they are the bulwark between humanity and the darkness, and so in all its forms, whether it's Space Marines or something else. So I still believe that the Space Wolves embody the best of humanity, both the warrior culture and the warrior aspect, and the caring aspect of it. Now, yes, the salamanders wear that on their sleeves. They wear their care for humanity out there. But the Space Wolves, they're warriors. They are true warriors. But if a human shows honor and integrity, they will show that human honor right back. Whereas most Space Marines look at humans as you're just in the way. Get out of the way. I don't care if you just killed a demon on your own barehanded. Like, whatever. Get out of my way. They just don't care about the average human or human soldiers. But Space Wolves do. They actually do. They do care. It's just hidden under the gruff and rough warrior exterior that they have. But make no mistake, they care about humans just as much as salamanders do, I would argue. And that's why I think they are one of the top tier legions. They, just like in Gilliman's Dauntless Few, they are in my Dauntless Few. If I had to pick a handful of legions to go to war with, number one pick, I'm bringing the Space Wolves. 100%. They have honor, integrity, and that fighting spirit that they just don't back down no matter how big or bad the enemy is. They just look it in the eye and say, Cowabunga, let's go, dude. You know? So, anyways, that's my rant for today. And, I'm a working man just like the rest of y'all. I'm out here working my 9 to 5. I'm doing this for y'all. I'm doing this for those who also are working a 9 to 5, grueling hours, long hours, sometimes longer than 9 to 5. And y'all are just trying to do your best to get up, provide for your families, and you need a little bit of enjoyment in between your drives from one job to the next. I get it. That's what I'm doing now. And so I just want to support that, let y'all know this is for you. This is for the guy that's just having a rough day. And if you just need to play this, and if this brings any comfort, joy, relaxation to your day, this is for you. I hope y'all enjoy it. Remember, be kind to people, show respect to people, and if you work hard, don't forget to play hard. This is Smooth Brain Operator signing out.